Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. So tonight I actually have my good friend Anastasia Elfman here with me. We're here to break down Ghost Ship. And what better way to do this than talk about this during spooky season? Also, too, Anastasia's a huge fan of this movie. So let's go on ahead. Let's welcome her back to the show. Last time she did this with me was for Dexter. So let's go on ahead. Let's do this, guys. Hey, Anastasia. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Very welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you here. I just want to say you've been very busy over the last course of the last 2 weeks, right? With Richard promoting and all that stuff. I just want to say congratulations to you yet again for how great you guys are actually doing at the film festivals for the film.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah. I mean, just touring with it, creating these like pre-show performances where I like rip a heart out and eat it in front of an audience and then we start the film Bloody Bridget. So, yeah, it's a lot of work, but I love doing it. So, it's super fun to tour around and go to different cities and states and stuff. So, yeah. And
Yeah,
then
that's
our
awesome.
my brother-in-law Danny just had his Nightmare Before Christmas live
I saw that.
depiction at the Hollywood Bowl, practically sold out, if not sold out. I didn't count heads.
But that's just awesome though, because Danny is such a delight to see on stage. And just, from that little clip that I seen, I can see how passionate he is about Nightmare Before Christmas, even after all these years. And just him performing, what's this? What's this? And just the way he performs it is just outstanding. And I love what he's doing. He's a huge
I it
inspiration to me in my childhood.
Yes, it's so special for us fans to see him not only perform live, but in front of a full 80-piece orchestra. So we have all of this incredible talent, and then he brings out Steve Bartek at the end and does a couple Oingo Boingo songs. I haven't posted any of those yet, but I plan to. It's just been such a whirlwind because this is our busy season anyways, because it's like spooky and Halloween time. And so just adding all of these extra fun events has I'm glad that I'm just like sitting down and here and chatting with you about one of, I guess, our favorite films.
Right? That's one of the best things about this podcast. Also, too, I just got done reviewing The Frighteners, which Danny did the score for. And
Yes.
I didn't realize until recently that he did the scoring for it. I'm like, wow. So he has that much um through my whole entire childhood. He's been there for me as a kid.
Yeah.
So that's just awesome to see
Yes,
his
I'm
growth.
excited to revisit that one too because I'm revisiting all of these fun horror films with our daughter Audrey, and so that's kind of one of the next ones. I every time I like watch an interview or I listen to a podcast or something, they remind me of all of these fun films, and so it like things get like a little chaotic at like when I get to like sit down and watch them with her while she's like juggling homework.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So let's go on ahead. Let's talk about this movie. So my question for you though, as a young Anastasia, when you first seen this movie on the horizon, pun intended, what did you think of Ghost Ship? And what made you intrigued with the story and everything?
Well, I watched it when it came out. I was totally captivated by the whole the whole story. I love Ghost. I love going back in time. I love practical effects. So kind of like it's a perfect package for me. And I feel like it's so special for us because this is almost like because we both enjoyed the film, it's like
Right.
a love note to this film, which while I was doing my research for the film, there's not like I don't know why there are so many like, mixed opinions out there, let's just say. But I definitely love this film.
What would you stand on it nostalgically out of 10?
Well, I wouldn't I kind of judge very hard. So it's not a perfect film for me. And we can go more into that later. But I do really love it. And I guess I would say, like maybe around an 8 or 9,
Okay.
and that's very high for me
I could
out of
see that.
10. Like,
Just
I
to
have a
hear.
little bit of problems with some of the script, and that's, that's not
That's
a
normal.
huge thing, since this is like a very practical effects, scare heavy film. Um, but overall, really loved it. Stood up for me for another watch because I actually rewatched this not too long ago with our daughter Audrey, and uh now I had to rewatch it again just with this mindset of like how we're gonna chat about it.
See, that's how I do things. I watch a movie at least twice. First time, I'm just doing it for me and just not taking notes, not doing any of that, but just nostalgically just saying, "Hey, I'm enjoying this. I feel like I'm a 16-year-old kid again, watching this for the first time and enjoying it and eating my popcorn." Second time go around, I'm actually taking notes and doing what I need to do to strip away the nostalgia of this movie. But I remember as a kid, and I'm always enthused with this. I love abandoned buildings. I also love abandoned ships. I like abandoned houses. I like seeing people go through abandoned stuff and seeing what they can find and notice and digging up some of the past from each history of each building or ship or whatever it is. So that's what I'm enthused with. As soon as I said ghost ship, haunted, haunted ghost ship, and you have ghosts on the ship and stuff, I'm hooked, honestly, right from the start. Like, okay, I love this. And then also too, you had Mudvayne being in this movie for like a little bit. I'm over there rocking my Newell medal with Chad. I mean, seriously, this was my soundtrack. If anything, but if I had to give it a proper score, I'd probably go maybe like a 7.5 out of 10, just for the
Hmm.
fact that I love this film. I love the music in it. And also too, like you said, the script is not the strongest, but it's there not to be taken seriously in a sense because we already know these characters are going to get axed off. But you're also invested into who's going to be the final person, which they did a
Mhm.
really good job of doing that. While they're also doing that, they're also giving us story. So I like how they're actually bringing the past into this as someone else is dying, so I think they do a good job counterbalancing the 2 things, if I have to say nostalgically on it. And this is me thinking as like a young John from 2002 and working at movie gallery. But yeah, so
Yeah, I feel like they don't pull the punches. It's just like once we get into, I mean, this is gonna be very spoiler heavy, right?
yep, exactly. This
Because
movie's
we're gonna be
2002.
dissecting. Yeah, they've
Yes,
had time to watch.
exactly. And guys, just to put this out there, I had to rent this on YouTube for like $4. It's not streaming anywhere. So I'm telling you, it's well worth the $4 pay to actually see this movie. And
Okay. It is streaming. I think it's on, like, Prime, but for some reason, I watched it on, it was, like, AMC Plus, but I do
oh yeah,
not recommend watching it that way for some reason, even though, like, we pay for no ads, I get all of these ad breaks, and if I have never watched the film before, I would have been so pissed off. I mean, I was pissed off just out
I
of
don't
the
like
principle
interruptions
of,
during my movie.
I hate it, I hate it. It already felt like, at least the version I was watching on the, AMC Plus or whatever it is, I felt that that version had a bunch of, like, commercial breaks already edited in that I didn't remember from before. So I don't know. I just did, like, the Surrey thing on my Apple TV, and then that was the version that came up.
Okay,
And so I just
that
pushed
works.
play, but I do not, I hate it. I'm probably gonna unsubscribe from that, package, that channel, whatever it is.
Yeah, I
'Cause
don't
I
like
hate getting interrupted, especially if
because
you're
it
paying for
ruins the
something.
tension, right. It
Yeah,
ruins the whole
yeah.
entire tension of the movie for me, and yes, I grew up in the '90s and 2000s where we had to suffer through commercials, but I'm more enthused with the plot, and if it's interrupted, I'm like, "Okay, so here's a 30-second slot on a Ford that I can't afford." So I just like the fact that I can actually watch this on YouTube for $4 and just support a movie that I enjoy, and that's how I did it. And even on Prime, you have to pay like 3.74 for it
Okay,
as
yeah.
well. So, but still, I enjoy this. So let's go ahead. Let's get into it. I don't know why this film is actually at a 14%. It has a 38 on the popcorn meter, which doesn't make any sense at all
I know.
to
I
me.
was looking at that and I was reeling, just like totally spiraling over it. Like, we need to update some of these. I think even Rotten Tomatoes is going through the back catalog and updating, you know, their percentages for different films.
I
And
feel
I
like they
hope this
need
one
to.
gets an I hope this one gets an update, or I'm gonna have to like finally join Letterbox and start like writing all these reviews to help help the cause.
I've been starting to write more reviews on Letterbox. To be honest with you, I've actually got a Letterbox account, and I'm starting to use it instead of just rating. I write out a couple of reviews and stuff too.
Oh, that's
But
great.
I love to show my support. But
Yeah.
let's go on ahead. Let's talk about. Let's go on ahead and let's break it down. So, welcome aboard, everyone. Tonight's cruise is complimentary. The drinks are free, and the Wi-Fi is possessed by the undead. That's right. We're diving into Ghost Ship, the only movie where the real villain is margarita time, with safety regulations. You mean to tell me they built this whole movie around a ghost boat, but nobody thought to call Ghostbusters? Even they saw the script and said, "Yeah, we're good." All I'm saying is, your cruise ship starts cutting people in half before the buffet even opens. Maybe it's time to swim home. Tonight, we're talking cursed gold, ghostly captains, and a first act that peaked harder than cholesterol after a movie popcorn. So grab your jackets and your holy water because this ship's going down faster than the box office after opening weekend. This is the Ghost Ship review. So, scene one. In May 1962, dozens of wealthy passengers are dancing in the ballroom and upon the deck of the Italian ocean liner, Arizona Graza, while an Italian woman, Francesca, sings Sansa Fine on the deck. A young girl, Katie Harwood, is sitting alone until the ship's captain offers to dance with her. Elsewhere, Arches hand presses a lever that unreveals a thin wire cord from a spool. The spool snaps and the wire slices across the dance floor. But bisecting the dancer, Katie is spread due to her height. And so that's the opening scene. And I just remember watching this and it's a cold open. So this is the first thing that turned me on was what's going on here. There's dancing happening and everybody's all happy. And then all of a sudden you see that snap. It feels like a Final Destination movie at first. And
Yes.
then you're seeing everybody just standing still, and then everybody just gets sliced in half. And then you see Katie just screaming on top of her lungs. And I'm like, okay, this movie hooks you the moment of that whole entire thing. And as a matter of fact, I think I put this as my top 5 opening scenes in a movie right next to Jaws. But what did you think of this opening scene?
It's so terrific because when I mean, I don't know. I didn't revisit the trailer, so I don't know how much was given away for new audiences with the trailer. But if you're going in blind and there's this beautiful romantic light score and it's like very old timey and it's like the font is older and it just seems like you're going into back in time and everybody is gorgeous and dressed up to the nines and we're just getting a feel for what the vibe is on the ship, and then all of a sudden cut to everybody's cut in half. You know, that was so shocking and jarring and just beautifully executed in my opinion.
I
I love
agree.
the shock value where, you know, you just when I was watching it, I didn't see it coming the first round.
I didn't either. Like, I'm just glued to my
Like
TV set.
chef's kiss. It
It's
was
perfect.
so beautiful. Everything. And then I mean, just like as a viewer and I mean, the acting was incredible. People are like, you know, like parts of their body are still twitching and moving. The choreography of that scene was so impactful. It actually makes me tear up when I watch it. I just get this like visceral reaction to seeing all of that, because it looks, in a way so realistic, and the effects crew and the VFX crew, just like it's seamless. It's a perfect example of how you can do practical effects in camera effects, and mirror and marry it with the VFX as well.
I agree because here's the thing. I love visual effects. We talked about this before. I like visual effects over CGI, but the way they meshed it together and marinated it together, I thought it was perfect. And then we're just as shocked as Katie is when all this is happening. Like when we see that final wire with the blood dripping down and her screaming, it sets the tone for this movie and what we're expected out of this movie. So I feel like that it knows its identity from the start of this film to get people hooked to the point where I don't feel like it's misleading any way or anything like that. Because some openings to a movie, especially cold openings, when I'm going to be reviewing The Faculty next week, there's two cold
Ooh.
openings in that movie, and I feel like they were good. It was good just for that one opening. And sometimes it can be where does this movie know its own identity? And this one actually does, and it doesn't play it safe and it grabs you. It's horrifying in this whole entire thing, and you're right about the whole entire handwriting of the classic 1950s style of the way they did this, and then something so horrible happening through this whole entire brightness and then this darkness that is this catastrophic event that happens, and then Katie's actually the last one to see everyone get split in half.
Yeah, it's so romantic and innocent, and
Mhm.
it just sets the tone exactly what you said with how the whole film is. And you also get little peeks into what's actually going on too. Like we see some different characters that'll come up later as well. And just like these little, I mean, when you rewatch it, you can see these like little winks and stuff that are very subtle, but as a fan, I know what's coming up.
Right, exactly.
Um
So now we're going to go with 40 years later, a boat salvage crew, Captain Sean Murphy, Marianne Epps, Greer Dodge, Murder, and Santos are celebrating a success at a bar when Jack Furman, a Canadian weather service pilot, approaches them and says he spotted a vessel running adrift at the Bering Sea because the ship is in internal waters. It can be claimed by whoever brings it to port. The crew sets out to the Arctic Warrior, an ocean salvage tugboat. As the tugboat makes its way to that last location of the ship, Santos, the driver of the Arctic Warrior, notices a ship sized icon on the scanner. So let's talk about the fact that, you're being introduced to these characters for the very first time. You know that this woman is really good at what she does. She's a underwater welder. All these other men are. I like how they actually establish a woman that's actually strong and the characterization of her and knowing that she's actually the best at her job, that these men feel comfortable with her to be able to handle this one man or woman job to where she has to go underneath the water, then she has to solder that piece together. And she only has a matter of so many seconds before it collapses. And I'm just amazed at how they really built that up. And she doesn't fall under this thing that we see in other horror movies where it's like dazzle and distress. She's a very strong character for early 2000s, which is something I'm really am proud of that they did because even during like later on in the movie, she does not drop down from that. So I really like that.
Yeah, I would say she's the one who's saving all the boys, all
Right.
of her crew. They're all the damsels in distress, you know? She's, like, plugging them out of the water and trying to save them. She doesn't do a really good job at her job, but she
No.
tries at least.
Right. But it makes us believe as an audience like she's done this before and that she's the best that she can handle, even though it's just one job, and we're supposed to believe the fact that she's good at what she does. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
other job.
No, I meant, like, keeping
Like,
them
oh,
alive. No, no, she's good at soldering, she's good
okay,
at,
okay,
like,
I gotcha.
like, keeping everybody in line and in order, and it's, like, it's her, like, ship too or something, right? She's, like, a
Right.
owner in this, um Right? Something like
Right.
that.
It's like she's kinda like a tugboat captain kinda thing where she's being able to handle these guys on the ship, even though she's, like, not the, captain. But it's like she's knows these guys, she's attached to these guys are family, and it actually does feel like these
Mhm.
guys are actually family to her, and that's
But it
something that I really enjoyed with it, and yes, she does do kind of a horrible job at trying to keep them alive because everybody's separated on this big, massive ship, and everybody's getting killed off, and the poor girl, she's just trying everything she can to help them.
Yeah, we can't we it's kind of jarring to go from the past to present day, and they're trying to fix some situation, right, with another boat, kind of just leading up to like explaining each character's like the kind of their job on the ship, and almost in the film as well, right? It's kind of
Exactly.
that like breakfast table kind of explanation of what's going on with all the characters.
And I like that. I like that little
Yeah.
breakfast size brunch kinda style of actually doing it, and then they celebrate, and then we have Joseph Quinn from Dexter come in, during their celebration, which is the I didn't even realize he was even in this movie,
Oh, how
Desmond
funny.
Harrington. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even realize Desmond was even in this movie. I thought my first time I ever seen him was in Dexter. So, I was like I had to pause it. I said my wife's like, "What's up?" I said, "I think that's Joseph Quinn from Dexter." Then I looked at it, and I'm like I turned into Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm like, "That's him, that's the guy." But, uh, but still, just he comes over to the table. They don't even know him from Adam, and and he's expecting them. It's like, "Oh yeah, man, not a problem. You know, there's a ship out here. I'll take you to it. Not a problem." But here's the thing. I love how they're questioning him, and they're like, "Well, if this is such a job for one person or whatever, why don't you do it? Because it's out in waters. There's no way I can get a coast guard over there or anything like that. I have to have higher help, and we'll split this any way you want." And then you have that thing where it's like, well, I don't want to split it any way I want. This is how we're going to split it. I forgot how much they actually split it for, but they make the negotiations. And then he's like, there's one other condition. What? I have to be on there with you. He's like, no, that's not happening. And I don't blame the guy. I don't blame him. I would not bring this guy who just wants me as a hire to bring him aboard, not know him or anything, and just
Mhm.
trust his word that this ship is out there. You know, because how do you know? He could actually kill everybody on the boat on the way over there, and that's it. And I'm like, I don't trust you. But he also tells him this. Well, look, I can hire anybody else around here. I guess I'll just go ahead and do that. And it's just like just a hustle move. It's like, well, since you don't want to do it, I'll just hire these other guys at this port and see what they have to do. But I like that whole entire interaction. I love the bar. I love how the environment is in this. I love the set piece of it. Everything for this scene definitely works for me of the initial setup.
Yeah, it's such an awkward scene because Murphy's like, "Anything you have to say to me, you can say in front of my crew." And it's like, on one hand, I get it. He's trying to be respectful. Like everybody seems to get like a fair cut. Like everybody does their job. Everybody like there's no hierarchy, and everybody gets a fair cut of whatever deal they're making, or whatever ship they whatever it is that they do, how they make money. It seems like it's like fairly distributed between them.
Right.
But how awkward. Like what a weird, like it was just very strange for me. That moment. And then yeah, I mean it, it's kind of like it's very weird because it's like what you were saying, they don't know him, you know, supposedly it's like, the character, I think his name Jack, he doesn't know them either, and so, yeah, it's like they kind of feel like one of them, it's like either a wild goose chase
Right.
for the crew, or the other guy's gonna get, like, screwed over by all of them, um, taking what's rightfully, quote, unquote, "his," you know?
Exactly, because I wouldn't want to trust this guy on board with me or anything. And yes, this scene is awkward, but I think it's awkward for a reason. It's that awkwardness of this guy interrupting our celebration to tell us about a damn boat ship that's out in the middle of the ocean while I'm trying to celebrate with my teammates. Hey, look, we on a successful job. And here comes this moron and saying, "Hey, look, I got this ship. Da 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 da. I want to hire you." And I'm like, "No, dude, go away." But at the same time, they can't say that because they also need the money too. Everybody has their own situations. Like you have one person that like wants to rebuild his car or wants the car, which would, you know what I'm saying? You have
Yeah, somebody else is getting married, like, they all have
right.
something at stake, which this would completely change their lives, but also they're like, while Jack is, offering such a great opportunity, they're also, like, ragging on him and making fun of him, like, "Oh, you found a boat in the ocean, wow, good job."
Golf clap. but But, you know, I think this scene really works, and then you finally get them on board, and Santos is the one who is actually obsessed with the car, of trying to get the car because he's actually talking we're thinking that he's talking to a this is, like, later on in the film where we're thinking he's talking to his girlfriend in the picture, but it's actually a car. But he's the one who wants the car. But I like this whole entire deal where you have him listen to Mudvayne just rocking out with the heavy metal music, and then you have the awkward guy who interrupts everything. He wants to be on the boat, but yet he gets seasick. But you know, I get the fact it's for humor, but if you're a guy who saw this boat and you know you're seasick, why would you go out there in the ocean in the first place?
Well, I feel like that's a ploy that this
Mm,
little devil boy is using to make it seem like he's not a threat to them. You know, like they're definitely over him. They've got their sea legs. He's not going to be a problem. And as they'll find out later, he's their biggest problem. Besides
yes,
almost running into the ship, which we just glazed over, how the ship goes invisible and they
right,
can't see it, and then we almost lose one of the guy dodge, right? He gets like
right,
thrown over because they have to like floor it in reverse, which I thought was a fun scene too,
right.
because
Because
that gets heart racing because you're like, is this a real ship, is it not, what's going on? I mean, we have the cold open, but it's like
like,
we're
we as an
still
audience sees
figuring
it, but
out,
right.
yeah, exactly, for the
It's like
crew.
we as an audience that see right, it's like Sleepy Hollow, for instance. Everybody else in this small town have seen the Headless Horseman. But we are also the townspeople in a sense who's watching this movie, and we've seen this happen. We've seen this ship actually does exist, but these characters, they haven't seen this ship. They think it's just a mythological thing that this guy is making up. And I love how it's actually storming out. Santos is rocking out to Mudvayne. Then you also have him looking at the scanner, and he calls up Murphy, hey, look, I found something on the scanner. Murphy comes up there. He goes, "What's up?" He goes, "I seen something on the scanner." And he goes, "There's nothing there. Are you sure that there's something there?" He goes, "Yeah, there's something there." And then all of a sudden, you see the massive size ship, and you realize how big that ship actually is, and how close they were actually to actually hitting it in the
Yes.
storm.
Yes.
It
I mean,
is just, yeah,
also, it's, almost like an urban legend because the ship just disappeared, right, in the '60s, and
right,
there's lore, and Murphy seems to know he's read a book for dummies on this ship because he knows every little fact throughout, and I'm,
right.
like, surprised that none of the other seaworthy crew they've never heard of this, this disappearing ship, but as we'll find out, just knows every little thing about it, and
My
it's kind
question
of
is,
interesting.
right. My question is this though: if you've been traveling with Murphy all this time, wouldn't they already know that he knows about ships?
I know, it's like being a friend with somebody who has like a favorite film or a favorite actor or something like that. Like they would be spouting out facts all the time, like in conversations that
Right.
have nothing to do with this ship. He's probably like, "Oh, by the way, did you know that this and this is like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but with this ghost ship?"
Right. I could just see him like in his own private quarters where he just has a book on ships and ghost ships and mythology. that nobody like in his spare time, somebody else is driving the ship, driving the tugboat, and here he is on reading a book on methodological ships.
See, that would have been a really good scene that if we went into his like little lodging area and he did have a shelf full of like ship books and stuff and he slammed it on the table to show people like that would have like been a little more cohesive. But I mean it's
Only
funny
a little
with this film it's like you can't like ask too many questions with like how do
right.
people know this or why are they spitting out these facts is like just to get the story going.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right on that. It's just that he makes it look like he's the smartest person on the boat, while everybody's like, "Ooh, look, he knows a lot about ships. Oh, this used to be no one could actually find the ship. Oh, look, Murphy knows some stuff." But but yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. But um, just to have a little bit of cohesiveness and stuff like that. And I understand that we're just here for the journey, just as the other crew members are also here for the journey and not knowing anything. So we actually feel like that we're part of that crew that doesn't know anything, and we're learning from Murphy though too. So you can have your cake and eat it too, in a sense. It's like, okay, I can overlook this uncohesive thing and act like that I'm just going in for the tour of Murphy and just learning from him. So that's also another interesting way of actually looking at it.
Yes.
Uh, so now, using the radio, Murphy attempts to contact the nearby ships. As they carry on, Santos notices a large object ahead. He quickly reserves the tugboat before slamming it into the object. After a close inspection, they find an ocean liner. They discover the ship is the Antonia Graza, which was believed to be lost at sea when they prepared to tow it. They discover it contains a large quantity of gold. Strange things begin to happen. Epps claims to have seen a little girl on the stairwell. Dodge finds a digital watch on the bridge, and Greer claims to have a woman singing and seducing him throughout the ship. Epps and Fairman discover the corpses of another salvage crew. They decide to leave the ship but take the gold. But an invisible force opens a gas valve in the engine room, and the Arctic Warrior explodes as the engine started killing Santos and leaving the others stranded. So let's talk about the fact that now that we're on board this ship, and you know we discover it's the Antonia Graza, and they are actually deciding, hey, look, we're going to try and tow this ship because they've done it before, so that it can work at any situation. But at the same time, your boat is so small and this ship is so massive in size. In the words of Jaws, you're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. I was like in my blonde brain, I was like, the math isn't really mathing right now.
but
Like
still, I mean, it's
how are
right.
they gonna get it going? I mean, I feel like it's just gonna break kind of in half after all of like it's so rusted. Which is so can we talk about the ship itself in the
Yeah,
film? How fantastic I was doing some research and it's like a miniature and it looks incredible.
it
And
really
then
does.
they also did some like CGI, stuff too, building it and everything. And then the sets, I just
The
loved
set pieces are
how
awesome.
when it's in its modern time it's so gross and wet, like everything's like I feel like I would be clammy and everything would smell like like the
I like
ocean
to
and
see
moldy all. Yeah, just like super gross, like the carpet would be soggy, like I'm getting
and
the big
rust
ick.
and all the things that you don't want to touch, right?
Yeah,
And I could actually smell the mold off this ship whenever they go in it,
the
and I'm
set
like,
design, yeah.
and I love seeing the broken pieces of this vessel. And there's this mystery element of what happened because we're- we already know what happened. I like how they're trying to figure it out, but also like how you have where you actually have Murphy goes, "Be careful where you're stepping because you can fall through because it's so rusted." But you're absolutely right. I can feel the texture of everything that they're touching. The point where I need Germex just to cover my hand and everything I see.
Yeah,
But
I love the details, I love the texture of it, I love just all the colors, just the depth of it. It just feels like a real, even though I don't think we are ever on a ship in this film. It was all like sets, but it has that weight. And I love it when films use actual sets and build actual sets, because
Me too.
there's a weight and a feel that, like, you can't
That's
get.
magical in a
Yeah,
sense.
we're not. And then also it's reflective in the actual actors, like having something to play off of, like, ew, I don't want to get this goop on me kind of stuff, just as a human,
Right.
let alone as, being a character in that fun little universe. But I just love it.
I
So
love
great.
it too, but you're right though. I'd rather have something that I can see and touch versus trying to, CGI. I like some CGI, like I said, but I like if I was an actor, I would like the visual touch of something and seeing what I'm actually doing versus interacting with something invisible and not knowing what the final product is going to be and wondering if I'm actually delivering the right performance from this because I'm not seeing what I'm touching. I'm not seeing how atmospheric this whole entire ship is. But with doing the miniatures and doing the set pieces, you're actually touching things. You're actually looking at how massive this set is. You're looking at certain things and you're like, okay, I can actually do something with this, maybe some improvisation. Maybe I can actually add something to the scene. It's hard to do that with a green screen. And I think they do a fantastic job of laying everything down and also too showing the past of something that's so
Mhm.
broken. The ship is the brokenness of those lives that were lost at sea. It's a
Oh, yeah, it's
resemblance of
very, very haunted feeling. I mean, to your point about being able to react to, like, having, like, a green screen and not being able to see what's around you, I actually thought that, the actor Isaiah Washington, who plays Greer, when we're doing when in the ballroom, when everything is going back
Oh, I love
into.
that.
I love that scene, and they did that with green screen, and I thought his reactions were so honest and pure and just hot choices. I thought that he did a fantastic job with that, because I was watching some behind the scenes stuff, and he's just actually doing those. I'm a dancer, so I love a physical actor. I love choreography, and he was just hitting those beats and movements, and I really felt like the ballroom and the chandelier. I felt like
There,
everything was
the
just
look on his face when that chandelier comes up was
so
fantastic.
shocking. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
and
Nailed
yeah,
it out of the park for me. He did fantastic.
that
But
I
not
can't say.
everybody is like him. Not everybody
No,
can do that.
but I do like that. I do like that performance by Isaiah because we're just as shocked as he is to see all these pieces coming together, and we're actually seeing a piece of history happening, even though he's being seduced by this woman. As a matter of fact, even before that happens, he's being seduced by her, by Francesca, and he goes, "I think I've seen a woman." And I was like, just started laughing. And then you also have, yeah, then you also have Epps who also sees the little girl. She goes, "Well, I think I seen a little girl." And then that's when you have that's when you have Fairman who winds up saying, "You saw a little girl." And then that's when if I haven't seen this for the first time, I would be like, okay, so he's just worried about her. Me seeing this and knowing who he is, I'm like, red flags are going up because of the fact of, wait, can actually see the dead when you're not supposed to see the dead, and I'm about to be made. So I do like the fact that has a rewatchability. If you already seen it, it has that rewatchability to go back and say I missed a few things, and it actually enhances the experience.
Yeah, I feel like every time I rewatch this film, I kind of see something new or pick up on, something new. I think it's a really great film.
I do too.
I mean, it's not 100% perfect for me, but I think I don't know. I don't know
I
why
think
people, like, hate on it so much.
I think
It's
there's a lot.
shocking.
It's shocking. I think there's a lot that they can actually go with and make this movie better in modern day time, in a sense, but to enhance the storyline a little bit. But other than that, though, I think it's actually this setup is really good to the point where I'm actually eating my popcorn, stuffing my face with popcorn, and just having a good time with it all over again, even though I'm actually in this and trying to strip away the nostalgia, and it's just so hard for me to be able to do that with these scenes because of how good and well balanced and how they place each actor in these scenes, in these situations, and they're playing off of it, and I'm just not much invested as I was in 2002. And this is what I wanted to say too, even whenever they find the gold and they're like, "Oh, we can split this what many ways." And they try to get it, and then of course they found the rats, and then then they wind up finding the gold, and then they try to take it off the ship, and that's when things start going awry.
Okay, which is so funny. Okay, can we go back to the rats for a minute?
Yeah,
Aren't they the cutest, fluffiest, cleanest
that's
little
true.
rats that you have ever seen? And I'm always shocked to see them because I figure they're gonna be all like gnarled up or just like a little bit of gel or put something on them, but they're just so perfect and fluffy and healthy
Yeah, they're
looking.
not
And
wet.
also,
They're not
and yeah, in my mind, I'm like, how are there rats here? Another thing, don't ask
right,
questions. Don't ask too
right.
many questions.
But I agree with you. I mean, I think it would be more haunting if you actually had them maybe having some of that witness to them for being in that crate for so long.
Yeah, I mean, where has this ship been? How are there rats on this ship? You
It,
know what I mean? Like,
I
it
would think it would
hasn't
be
gone into
skeletons.
like exactly. I know. I mean, I don't know if we needed anything in there, but I guess for some reason we needed something like as the writer, I'm trying to think like we needed a reason for them to notice these crates of gold, right? Because like we couldn't just put them in the car.
Right. And not only
And it's
that,
it's also the lightest gold ever,
right, that is
like
pure gold. Like that is like yellow
we
gold.
should have like put a little bit more weight into that, or acting with the gold.
I feel like they should have at least had dust on them and everything, and they have to just clean the dust off of it, and you see pillars
Mhm.
of dust, and then there's the gold.
Yeah, I mean, minor little issues, but it's just like it's always a little silly when I look at them, when that
Right.
scene comes up.
I gotcha. But then I also like how that's why that's happening at the swimming pool because you have whenever you see Epps, she falls down into the swimming pool because that's where she sees the girl, and you see shells on underneath, where the swimming pool is because it's dried now. But we as an audience don't know the rest of the story. So I like the fact that they hid that from us. I'm like, well, is that left over from the other people because we see a digital watch? And did those people kill each other? And because they had cabin fever and because they don't maybe their ship also got blown up or something while trying to move this gold. And did they actually it has like the movie The Thing? It kind of has that kind of feel
Mhm.
to it where I'm thinking they both that whole entire crew pretty much drew each other crazy to the point where they had killed each other. So that's where my mind was going.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting these like little breadcrumbs of like what happened. Yeah, because we're not sure what time period, because we saw in the beginning that there was some kind of massacre that happened. And then we're kind of debating, oh, is this, uh, did this happen in modern day with what you were saying with the watch, or is this in the past? We don't know. But yeah, it's definitely laying the stage for what happened and gives us a glimpse into like, oh, that's like kind of weird, what like I don't think most people are shooting like guns into the pool.
No, but the thing that I found that was really interesting though, while they're moving this, the swim pools ends up filling up with blood, and then you see the bodies from the ghost in there too. I had goosebumps with that. I thought that was an interesting way of actually saying just because we don't see something supernatural doesn't mean that there's nothing there.
Yes, I feel like I loved how they had the ghost almost kind of hinting towards their own story. I love the thought of ghosts being trapped in their final moments or in their own loops. Like how you get stuck, let's say like you get stuck in a loop of like how you died or something like that. And I love that we get little images of that. Now, okay, can I pose a question to you?
Yeah,
We're mentioning like, oh, was this cabin fever? Do you feel as a viewer that like it's still up in the air if there's something supernatural happening, like as you when you're watching it, or do you find that like you definitely know this is haunting, like there is no question about it?
I feel
What do you think?
I feel like there's no question that this is haunting because we see the bodies filled up with the bodies and stuff like that with the swimming pool with blood, but also too, we see the digital watch. So that tells me this little twerp probably hired another crew to do the same shit that this other person did that they're doing. So it's just him luring these people in and taking souls. So that's what I was thinking though too. I'm like, this guy had been hard at work and getting. He probably hangs out the same spot on every Monday, and it's like,
Interesting.
and just listening to people's conversations. Hey, you good? You want some money? Yeah. Well, I have this. There's a ship out in the ocean. Look, I got pictures. I could just imagine the bartender. Here he fucking goes again. Here we go.
This guy.
Right. But I could just see the bartender like, here we go. Every Monday, this guy. I could just see him go. Hey, look, Tom. Yeah, come here for a minute. Look, this guy comes in every Monday. Okay, there's no ship. Every single day, nobody wants to take this job. So it must be this guy. This is what I'm thinking though. But I just think like every Monday, this guy comes into the same bar, and so it must be he hired these people, and he winds up doing. They wind up getting trapped on the ship. They die. He puts the watch in something, and that's how that happened. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he already hired another crew. That crew died. He took those souls. Now he's ready to take down these guys.
Yeah,
What do you think?
interesting. I mean, at this point, I don't know if I know, like, as a viewer, if I know anything about him, um, kind of being the ferryman,
Right.
getting all these souls for, let's say, like Satan. I think he's terrible at his job because, right, he's
Yeah.
supposed to get all of these souls on the ship, and I mean, I always kind of question, it's like, did he need this crew to save this ship from sinking, or is that another ploy? Is it fine? You know what I mean? Because he
Right.
has this telekinetic ability to disrupt in our universe, like the ship, and moving different things. And I think it's all him, like setting up these traps. And also, I mean, as a bigger thought too, it kind of feels like the seven deadly sins, kind of, it's
Greed,
like
lust. Right.
we're hitting all of these things. And it's like Murphy has a drinking problem, he's being seduced by alcohol, Greer is about to get married, I don't think he's ready for it.
No, he's lusting.
He's having some second thoughts. I mean, who wouldn't? She's gorgeous.
Right. I would be like, well, it's not cheating if it's a ghost. I'm like, I'll give you a pass.
Yeah, he got the shining. She was ugly the whole time.
Right, exactly. And he was actually sober, which is actually even bad.
No,
But
I mean, she's, like, so intoxicating. I can totally understand. She has this, like, wonderful
once
charisma to her, and it's interesting, you probably know too from doing research, the actress, she's actually Italian, and she didn't speak a word of English, and so they had to get an interpreter, on set for the director to be able to give her notes and, like, help direct her scenes, and why she doesn't have any dialogue other than in Italian, because I think her part was going to be a bit bigger, or she would have had more dialogue
right.
with the different characters. I'm guessing that's kind of what was hinted
But
from
I think
what I
but I think
saw.
it works though for her though. I think it
I
works.
like it. I like her being mysterious. I mean, she's so gorgeous. I love her dress. I love everything about her. And
I
I
do too.
love when we have that scene later on that we'll go into later, which is like that's like kind of my second best scene, is where we get the whole flashback from Katie's perspective, and even more so of like more than what she saw, you know.
Right. But what do you think about the gas being turned on by a ghostly being? And at first I'm like, I wish they would actually done a little bit more on that because I'm like, is that Furman trying to collect the souls now going back after rewatching it? Is he collecting these souls? What's going on here? Because I would love to see a lot more into it. Is he orchestrating this thing? Because we know all these other ghosts are innocent bystanders because we see them floating up. So it's like he's the only being on this ship that is controlling the narrative.
Yeah, that's kind of where I felt like it was just like a hurry up and let's get going to move the plot because like we couldn't give them an exit. But like we had to get rid of that. It's kind of like in other movies, it's like we got to get rid of the car, like how do we get rid of this other ship that they could just literally go and leave? Because at a certain point, it's like as a human, you would want to save your life more than like dealing with the gold because you can always get more money, right?
Right.
But you can only get one life unless you're stuck on a ship and you've got to be a ghost forever.
Right. It's kind of
but
like, okay,
but
well,
yeah, and oh, go
okay.
ahead.
It's kind of like saying, okay, guys, well, look, we're about 30 minutes in. There's no dead bodies. We tease Ghost here. Look, we need to make this time slot. So let's go on ahead. Let's get someone killed right now. So they won't ahead blow up the boat and everything. And there's no, like you mentioned, there's no escapism whenever it comes down to the boat blowing up. And now they're stranded on this ship. So I definitely like where they went with it. It's just me questioning one little tiny thing that I can actually ignore, but it's making me wonder.
Yeah, and also it was kind of like what qualified Santos to get the mark? Like, was there some like did he like I don't remember going into his backstory. Like he seemed like I mean, he was kind of like a kind of a jerky guy. Like maybe like I wouldn't want to I don't know if I would want to hang out with him, but I was kind of a little confused like how his soul got trapped. Or if it did. I don't know, because it seemed like it was Jack kind of taking over his persona, his look to kind of mess with Murphy later. So it's kind of up to
Like
the
a Nightmare on Elm
viewer.
Street kind of vibe.
Yeah, right? So I
I think
don't
it was
even know. Maybe he's stuck. Maybe he's still out in the ocean. His soul's stuck. Or maybe he went to. I don't know.
right. So now they attempt to repair the Antonia Graza and sail it back to land. Rare encounters Francesca, the singer he heard, who seduces him and then leads him off a parasite to his death. Captain Murphy, after entering the captain's cabin, finds the ghost of the Antonia Graza's captain, who explains that they just recovered the gold from a sinking cruise ship Lorelei, along with the sole survivor. He shows Murphy a picture of the survivor, who he recognizes. He rushes out to the rest of the crew, but a supernatural force causes him to see everyone he meets as the burned ghost of Santos, causing the crew to think he has gone mad and lock him in the drained fish tank. So we were talking about how much we liked the whole entire thing of the seduction of Epps. No, not of Epps. You know who I'm talking about, Murphy.
Francisca. Oh,
And,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and we see her luring him in, and I like this thing where he's like, "Oh, okay." She starts undoing her dress a little bit, and then he goes, "Well, it's not cheating if she's a ghost." And then she just falls through the shaft, and he's gone. And I'm like, wow, she manipulated the whole entire thing. But I also like the look of her afterwards because it's not like a skeleton because you're thinking like it's going to be a skeleton face or something. But no, it's a decayed look. And I like the little bit of the soulness with it rather than having that decayed skeleton look.
It was definitely I mean, like, I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it always was, like, a little bit silly for me. It reminded me of, oh gosh, is it House on Haunted Hill?
Yeah,
No. Uh, maybe. Yes, but, like, that kind of, like, all of a sudden scare, um, I thought it was great.
it
And
has
I
the
liked her
soulness.
makeup, and then how she was aged, she was older. She was old the whole time.
Right, but also another thing though, Anastasia, that I liked though too was like when she's watching him from a distance because remember he sees the cigarette in one of the scenes, and he's walking, and he's like, "Huh, Epstein doesn't wear lipstick." Huh. Puts it back down, walks away. But as he's walking away, you see Francesca over there looking at him, and I love that thing of the ghost looking at someone that's living. It's like, "I got you now. I know what you're after." So I like that. I like that scene. And then I like the captain scene. I definitely like them explaining that and not showing us who the person is in the picture to give us a little bit of a mystery. What do you think?
Yes, I thought it was so great. I mean, it's so chilling and I mean, with the captain of the ship, you just like I don't know, like my heart goes out to him because it's like you always think like the captain he's kind of like the father of the ship and he goes down with the ship. Um and I just thought that that was so creepy and eerie the way that they had him kind of like just ghostly come in and then explaining things, but he's like explaining it in Italian. And they're having this kind of like, dialogue back and forth about what was going on. And he shows them, the what do you call it? Like the ledger for the ship, and they go into the history about what happened. He's like, this guy's your guy. Watch out. And I've seen him, around you guys. Like
Like,
the captain's been keeping an eye on them, you know, while they're there, I guess. It feels like the ghosts are watching everything, but maybe Jack is the one who's like I feel like he's the evil force into like actively killing this whole crew, like the ones who are alive.
I
I mean,
agree.
that's what my feeling.
I can see that, to be honest with you, because I'm thinking the same thing here. I'm thinking that Jack is doing this whole entire thing. He's the one who's orchestrating it, like I said before. And, we don't get this. I didn't notice this, Anastasia. I don't know if you did too. But I noticed the fact that you don't see him through the whole entire movie up until the very end. So he's very suspect to the point where
Mhm.
that mystery element, if you're the first time viewer and you don't realize it, that he's not in there the whole entire time and you're like, oh, who is it? Or anything, you'll be shocked. But for us, we're like, and I started noticing, I'm like, he hasn't been in this whole entire movie since the first guy got blown up or whenever they found the gold. And that was it.
Yeah, I always kind of forget about him as like because it's so like he wants to be so unassuming. He wants people not to like worry about him. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they try to make him a little bit forgetful because he's just like this guy who's excited about the treasure, excited about like getting this ship, you know?
Right.
And so as the viewer, it's kind of like I almost forget a little bit because I'm worried about the crew now. And they're kind of my first concern, like what's going on. And then like the whole thing about, like what's going on with the little girl, Katie, what's underlining, like what's happening. Because at first it's like in the beginning with that whole cold open scene, it doesn't feel like it was planned in a way. You know what I mean? Like it
No.
just seemed like it was an accident. And now we're getting vibes with the pool shooting with other crew going missing that there's something like evil lurking around the corner, that there's
Right.
some entity because we see the little girl. It's almost like she's like trying to help them in a way. Like she pops up a little bit. And then there's moments where she does reach out and try to help Epps or warn Epps, and like right before Santos gets it, she's like yelling off of the ship, don't start it. And I feel like that's Jack who jumps up and takes her away.
See, I paused it right there too. I'm like, is that Jack? And
Did we get answers, or is that kind
no, it
of
happens way too fast.
okay?
Where you all you see is like a shadowy figure and that's it. But it makes sense for it to be Jack.
Right? I feel like he's like the puppet master
Mhm.
behind the scenes, pulling all of the strings because it feels like other than maybe, there's a moment where Francesca she can kill, like, but like people step into that. It's not like an action that she's not pushing. She didn't push him over, and kill him. it was his choice. And that's the thing too. It's like these people are sinning and then they go to him and get marked, right?
Right. Basically, he's think about it, he's a foreman for the devil, probably, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 He's a ferryman.
Right. But you know what though? Um, but I do like the fact that this little girl is actually the innocent one out of everything. And she's helping people rather than they could actually pull on the innocent to be the one that has a plot twist of her doing stuff. But no,
Oh, yeah.
instead it's her helping them wanting to discover everything that happened so she can rest in peace and stuff. So I like that. I definitely like that. And then you're right, Jack is actually the orchestra of the person that's pulling all the strings. But I know that I mentioned the fact that we forget all about him. The characters also forget all about him because nobody even mentions where's Jack at. They're all consumed with what's going on around them to the point where he can disappear and manipulate them even more into the background. And even that one scene where we actually have Murphy, who they lock up because they think he's wacko with everything, and now he's locked away. So yeah, I liked how they played on that because that also feels like the thing all over again for me. But let's go on ahead. Let's talk about the next scene, though. Epps meets Katie, who reveals what happened on the Graza. The sole survivor of the Laurielli convinced the crew of the Gaza to murder the passengers in order to claim the gold for themselves. One of the ship's officers turned on the rest of the crew and killed them all, only to be killed himself by Francesca. Another man then joined Francesca in an embrace and walked away as a large hook swung in her face, killing her. The man is revealed as Jack Fairman, who was actually a demonic spirit who masterminded the massacre. So let's talk about that one scene because I think there's a lot happening here. And I love the plot twist of this, even though we know it, but I love how the music is playing as we're seeing this happen. And we're seeing the accident happen all over again, but we're also seeing Katie, who's actually a survivor, who's being taken by the mob. And you're seeing people being executed in the swimming pool, which now we know why there's a bunch of bodies being piled up over there. We see her going through different rooms and, you know, Epps actually saw her body being hung, and we actually thought, well, maybe she hung herself or something. That was my first initial thought was suicide. But once you actually seen it, it's like, oh, they hung her after witnessing everything, and they can't have witnesses. This whole thing was about the gold. But what did you think about the whole mob thing and everybody backstabbing each other? Here's the thing: I like how Francesca comes in there. This has like Dark Knight vibes with Heath Ledger, where everybody's backstabbing each other, and then Francesca thinks that she's going to get away with it, but instead she winds up getting killed by Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I again, it's like one of those perfectly choreographed sequences. I love how there wasn't a line of dialogue, but you know exactly what's happening. We get this perfect view of how things just imploded on themselves and just everybody. I mean, it's like first we see that everybody was poisoned, and they're having reactions to that, and while people are dancing they don't even notice that others, it's like that's how they get rid of half of the people. It's like they kill all of the chefs, in the kitchen, and then they poison everybody and they pretend to be these other crew members. And then we've got the whole thing with the dancing and the wire, that we saw before, but we see it in a different, we see a little bit of an extended version, and then we get to see, like, it's interesting seeing Katie's reaction to rewatch. It's like getting stuck in that loop that I was talking about
Right,
before. And I love those moments, those sequences. And then she gets to also see everything from like Katie's viewpoint and beyond. I love I love how it's like betrayal to betrayal to, like what you were
right,
saying. It's like everybody's, betraying the next person. and I thought that that was I did not see the hook coming. I mean, everything happens so fast and seamless, and it's so seductive. I mean, I feel like I'm in a music video with
Mhm.
the song. I love the song choice.
Me
I think
too.
it's so killer, and like it, it's so good. Um, and I just thought that that was such an evil death for her, and it looks so good, and she's
It
such a
really
great
does.
actress to, like, portray that happening to her. It's one of my favorite, this whole sequence. I mean, it's so sad to watch. Like, I tear up for these certain things because I just feel so bad, so much empathy, for the innocents, all of these people. Because it's like you think about, like, like in the story, it's like they were going, to a different country or wherever they were supposed to go, and like their family wait, all of this kind of like stuff. I don't know. I think past the movie, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like in the movie logic of it. But I thought it was so good, and I'm glad that you loved it too.
I loved it. I loved the music with it. I loved everything within it. And then it's revealed that it's Jack, and has that look of surprise. Epps does of like, "You mother effer, you gotta be kidding me," you know, because all this is because of him. And I also like how he leaves the mark on Francesca as well, like an Indian rug burn kind of way of him doing it. And I'm like, oh, I definitely like how he ends up doing that, and it actually burns into the skin. So, I like that scene.
Yeah, it
Um,
singes in, right? Yeah, that was an
yes.
interesting choice. I like that too. Like it's like Hell's Fire. And yeah, what a dynamic reveal. Didn't, like when I was first watching it, didn't see it coming because I just like he just comes off as like kind of a goofy doofus, right?
Right.
And so to see that there's this put together, guy who's the leader of the pack, and it's all he's doing everything. And I feel like he, as the character, is like also like when he got on board, he's like whispering, he's like the devil on your shoulder,
Yep.
whispering, telling you exactly what you want to hear. And that's how everybody, just the ball rolling, and then they're killing everybody.
Exactly. And so now we have Epps then rushes to Murphy, only to find him drowned in the new flooded fish tank. Although devastated, she deduces the Furman lured the salvage team to the Gaza to repair the sinking ship, and that the best way to fight him is to sink it. Epps rushes to the bridge to tell Dodge they must leave, but Jack shows up before she can even mentions it to him. When Epps sets off to find Munder, Furman starts questioning Dodge about his feelings for her. Dodge grows suspicious and unnerved, leading him to shoot Furman, who appears dead, but looks up when Dodge leaves down below. Murder is crushed between two gears. Yeah, Munder is actually crushed between two gears while fixing a block pump. After seeing his remains, Epps sets explosives. Just as Dodge shows up, saying they should take the gold and run, Epps refuses, then suspiciously questions Dodge, and even who laughs and morphs into the demonic Ferryman, revealing the farmer's fate. Fairman describes himself as for a salvager of souls, a job he says he earned by a lifetime of sin. He explains that since Katie was a child and never committed a true sin, he cannot control her as he does the evil ghost, so long as the Antonia Graza remains afloat, he can use it as a trap and keep management satisfied. Epps detonates the explosives and sinks the Graza. Katie helps Epps escape and sink in the ship. She is left in the debris as the souls trapped on the ship ascended into heaven. So we have a lot going on within this one scene. So
That's so much.
yeah,
Like, let's bring it back a little bit.
yeah,
Like,
I can
okay,
rewind a little bit.
so when we see Murphy in the tank and we finally see that he has the picture of Jack, I was kind of like, excuse me, who is that supposed to be? Like, because he's so sunken in, he
Right.
looks like a totally different person. I'm like, how is Murphy in his like scotch goggles, like after he's had a couple drinks, how does he put two and two together? Like that doesn't really look like him. I was actually surprised that they had him look so sickly and not like himself. But again, maybe that's like to put people at ease while it seems like he tries to just make it seem like he's not a threat to anybody. So maybe in that time period that would have like put people more at ease, like why is he the only survivor? Oh, because
Right.
he's like on death's door.
Exactly. Make him look like he's the one who survived everything. And, but yeah, I think it's just the thing is like he's an innocent bystander and he's just happened to be in this bad situation. And nothing and all these other people didn't really had a lot more stuff dealing with it. I don't know. But still, I think that it actually works. I really like it. But yeah, I really like that part. And then what did you think about where now he's manipulating Dodge about his feelings for Epps, and you know the, the whole entire movie he doesn't mention anything about her or her feelings. There was no connection. Then all of a sudden he decides during this whole entire time, oh, I'm in love with Epps.
Yeah, that's another like little story structure thing that I had a little bit of a quibble with, which I know is difficult like when you're dealing with this kind of a huge project and you have so many effects, all of this stuff. But like when I was thinking about it, I was like, they should have hinted towards like I don't recall seeing any hints. Like I would have had him open a door for her or like give her a little bit of a vibe or something, because like I,
Right.
I
Or
just
trying
felt
to
like
pick her
that
up or
came,
something.
yeah, like totally out of left field for me. And then for him to continually like almost like pressure her and put him like, like even she's kind of like, "What are you talking about?"
Right.
So maybe it's like the insanity, and then maybe that's like was in his heart, or I don't know. And it's kind of like the devil is like, like he's just kind of creating
Wanting. Or,
these like, yeah, it's just part of whatever it is he does, and it makes people insane, I guess. I don't know. It's like maybe if you have a little bit of that in your heart, then it gets like exposed. Like with all these people, like it was like a like murdering. You know what I mean? Like all
right.
of these crew members were like they started killing people. Out of you would say nowhere. But
Right.
yeah, it was definitely weird for me. Um,
Too.
but
Because
also when Epps is looking for the other crew and we see that he gets crushed when he's like the blood comes up the pipe and it's like, oh no, there he is. He's right there.
right. And then, he winds up shooting with a shotgun. Winds up shooting Dodge with a shotgun, and then he winds up taking on the persona. And Epps is, she's like, well, I love you. I want to be with you. And she goes, whoa, 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 whoa. And like you said, Anastasia, what are you talking about? I don't, just look, we can take the gold. We can run off together. We don't have to worry about this anymore. Let's just leave things be. And next thing you know it, she's like, no, this is not you. And the next thing you know it, it's Ferriman doing what he does. And he tries to make a deal with her since he couldn't make a deal with Dodge. And he goes, look, if you go ahead and just leave the ship intact, because I'm actually the one who has to take all these souls out, you can forget about this whole entire thing. Then she winds up shooting. I like how she takes a spear gun and then shoots the detonator to make the ship explode.
Yeah, which is another case in point of him trying to um tempt. He's like temptation all over the place. He's trying to tempt her with a I'll let you live, if you help me or if you forget about all of your friends who I guess murdered. Which in fact, I think if she would have taken that deal, she would have been marked, because like that's an evil thing to do, you
Right.
know?
Well, even if she
So
took that
it's
deal,
like a
though,
lose-lose situation for her, I feel like.
right? Because even if she takes that deal, think of it like this: how many years would you actually live? He didn't. He said, "I'll let you live," but he didn't say for how long he'll let you live.
Oh, yeah, loophole. Yeah, he's
Right,
like, "Come on, let's do this for management."
right. Management will be so proud of me. Not kidding.
He's like just a middle guy, like
Right.
who's terrible at his job. He can't get these freaking ghosts. He keeps on trying to like I don't know because apparently there's all of these innocent ghosts and he's stuck on this
He's
ship
like the union
until
guy.
exactly until he can try to tempt all of these. Does he have to like keep on bringing people onto the ship to get these ghosts to like change sides or something? Like see, that's another thing that like I can't think too much about because it's like there's too many questions then, you
Right.
know?
I agree. But I also like how he says he can't use Katie as a way to manipulate her because of her innocence. And these other people who have sins. So he's feeding off the sins of other people while also feeding off the sins of the living as well. So he's this big, powerful being, but yet an explosion will kill him.
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, horror movie
It's
logic, I
right.
guess.
I wanted a little bit more of a battle. You know what I mean? I wanted a little bit more of a confrontation of maybe like a 10-minute battle scene with them wrestling against each other or something.
Yeah, or him like using his telekinesis powers against her, and she's got to like run away from pipes and stuff, which she's not very good at.
Right.
Yeah,
But I
I
do,
definitely
yeah,
thought there was going to be a bigger showdown, but it makes sense for the ending why we
yeah.
didn't get
Right.
that.
We're going to talk about that ending because I think they wanted to make a Ghost Ship 2 probably.
Hey, I'm
Uh,
down for it. Let's do it.
right. I'm down for that.
I'll help
But
write it.
hey, I'm down with that. I'll just go in for the ride. I'll support it. I'll donate some money towards it. Uh, but
Wouldn't that be
I do.
great if we got that? Oh my god.
I'll be down for a Kickstarter. Seriously. But I do like the fact that you have these souls now floating up in the sky. They're at peace now. I love, even though it's CGI and we see the ship breaking in half, and then we see it the tail end of it sticking up. I love that whole entire thing of this ship now being broken in half, and now they can actually live out their basically live out in eternity. So I like that idea.
Yeah, the ship definitely, went boom. And then she's like, "Oh, it's finally over now."
Right, and then she's also Katie helps Epps escapes the sinking ship. She is left in the debris of the souls and trapped on the as the souls trapped on the ship ascend to heaven, drifting on an open sea. Epps is found by a cruise ship and returned to land. As she is loaded into an ambulance, she sees the battered crates of gold being loaded on the cruise ship, followed by Furman. He glares at Epps and carries on. She carries out as the ambulance doors close. But what I found that was interesting, it was all the people that she knew that was carrying the crates.
Well,
Or so that's what I looked like.
it felt like there it was almost like I don't know if these were like stand-ins for the crew because they were definitely trying to emulate that it was her crew. But while I was watching it, I was like, that is not a single main like actor, none of them. So I don't know if it was something about production that they let them go, but it wasn't any of our original actors. But they were definitely trying to give off that vibe. So I don't know if it was like their stunt doubles or what. But yeah, no, that was crazy. What a
I
fun
agree.
twisted ending because it's like, oh, here he goes again, up to his same old shit.
Right? And here's the thing, I knew the ending was coming, but I forgot that she was on one of the crates or something as she was, and I'm thinking to myself, what if, and I know that it's impossible because it's gold, but what if she was actually, maybe Katie put the gold in that trunk and she's holding on to it, floating, but the gold weighs too much.
It's
And
so heavy, yeah.
right, so that didn't make sense to me. I'm like, "Nah, I'm just
I
gonna
don't
cross
even
that
know if
out."
she could
But
get away with, like, 1 piece of gold, you know
no,
what I mean? Like, when you think about, like, how heavy it's like you wanna just survive, you wanna live, it's like flight or
right,
fright at that
but
moment, you know? Like,
right,
survival instincts.
right, but I don't think that she would have actually took it. I don't think Epps would have took it. But what if
Mm, yeah.
Katie thought, "Hey, look, you helped us, I'm gonna help you. You get the goal that Furman was actually after." So that's what my logic was,
It sounds like we need a sequel where we could go into what exactly happened
right?
and make
But
up our own theories.
right, but hey, I enjoy this movie still. I found things that I really enjoyed about this, and I wanna go on ahead and ask you, how do you feel about it now we broke it down scene by scene? And what is your, stripping away the nostalgia review?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I can strip away the nostalgia at all. I'm always gonna be a fan of something, even if I go in and, like, put on my glasses and, like, trying to look at everything, from this perspective of, like, talking about it more in depth. Um, I thought that it was more apparent that the script needed a little bit more of a tweak, you know? I mean, if you know your history of this film, the cast and everybody, they were attached to a different version of the film. It was supposed to be more psychological. It wasn't supposed to be this like horrific of a tale, and then it switched. So I don't know if that came across in anybody's performances or not, but it definitely seemed like the script, maybe it was massively massive, like, rewrites, and I feel like it was probably rushed just because, like, they were having people come out, sets were being made. You're under the gun. It's a miracle that any film gets made when you think about it, and
True.
anybody who has a lot of opinions, like, obviously has never made a film because there's so much on the line, when you're dealing with this big of a project or any project at all. But, so that for me, revisiting it with that kind of in mind, the script needed another tweak. Otherwise, I mean, I had such a blast watching it. The effects held up. All of this different stuff held up. How about for you?
Well, what would you give it out of 10 though? Is
Oh, I mean, still, I would say like a 8.5 or 9. I mean, it's
okay.
not a perfect. It's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know. It's not a super perfect film. It's a fun watch.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I watched it before I knew I was doing this with you. I watched it like while we were doing the Dexter stuff because I felt like because I was seeing the actor on Dexter,
Right.
and so I was like kind of in the mood, and so I kind of that's how it like for the most part that's what leads what horror films I want to revisit with my daughter. And so I was kind of in the mood to watch this because he's like the star of this film. And so yeah, so still high for me.
Okay.
I don't get why people like hate on it so much. I think it is such a perfect example of how practical effects are so incredible, in camera effects, all of this kind of stuff. I love it, and I think the people who worked on it should be so proud. And I love, it's part of that. It was like Zemeckis and other people. They were kind of trying to remake the Castle films and stuff, and this was one of the original films because they were trying to do, I think, once they got it going, because they did House on Haunted Hill remake,
Yep.
and then they
I enjoyed
did
that one.
13 Ghosts. I enjoyed both of them, but
I
I
still
like,
enjoy 13 Ghosts.
yeah, I don't know why. I love it. I love it so much. I don't know why people like crap on those films so much. But maybe my taste is off. I don't know. But I really love effects heavy films, and maybe like the audience who is watching it and giving their opinions aren't into horror, aren't into practical effect. I don't know, but
I
it
don't
looks
know.
so good.
Unless
It's
they're
like
thinking
perfection for me.
right, I love practical effects, and I'm just gonna go on ahead and give you my rating and everything too.
Yes, yes, please.
So, okay, so I know I gave this a 7.5 out of 10 for nostalgia. I'm giving this an 8 because I really enjoyed this. It's hard for me to take this and look at it in a modern day. I tried stripping away the nostalgia of it. I cannot strip away the nostalgia of it. I'm still hook, line, and sinker into this film. The production of it is just fantastic. The set pieces are fantastic. The special effects are a perfect blend of CGI and practical. The originality behind it is even better to me, and it still adds a little bit of extra flavor to it later on when you rewatch it again and maybe find some stuff that you might have missed before, and you're questioning certain things. It's okay to question certain things, but I don't like to actually tear things apart to where I'm not enjoying it. And so I find myself enjoying this film. I would definitely watch this again. I'm enticed with it. I love everything about it. The actors did a good job with it. Yes, the script needs some tweaking and stuff like that. But underneath the surface, it's actually a good movie. And I don't think it deserves the Rotten Tomato score that it got. I feel like it deserves more, you know? And, one of my friends has a podcast called It's Not That Bad, where he rates bad movies and finds something good about it. This is p practically my first time doing a It's Not That Bad kind of, movie review in a sense. But I have to say, this movie is fantastic. I would watch this. And I can't find anything really negatively bad about this film, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I'm so glad that we're doing kind of a love letter to Ghost Ship because I feel like it gets I mean, I feel like there's a lot of fans out there, but I don't know. I feel like we need to go out there and help the ratings a little bit more because I know when I'm going through like different movies on Netflix or Prime or something like that, if I see a low score, I'm probably not going to like check it out. But this one so deserves a watch.
I agree.
I you know, I even I mean, these are just like minor little tweaks. I also it's like I don't even want to say it's the script's fault because like sometimes things get edited, like maybe whole scenes were edited out and it gets a little like it's not always like anyone thing. I mean, with like film, it's a collaborative medium. Um and so I don't know. I love the film. I think it's great. I think it looks great. I like the rock music that comes out of nowhere. I think it kills, and, I think it totally deserves when somebody says, like, "Oh, it's, like, the best opening segment," or "It's the best this or
Yes.
that."
I have that in my
I
top. Whenever I did best opening scenes of all time for
Mhm.
my podcast, I put that as I forgot what number it was, but that's actually in there for that.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
it's so great. I mean, I can't like, trying to think if there's anything else that compares because it's just so 180, because it's like you think you're getting this, like, kind of romance. I mean, the little girl, she's bored and stuff, and then bam, things are about to
I
get weird.
I definitely love that Scrabble piece. If I had to get a prop from this movie, it'd probably be that Scrabble piece that they have.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know what I would want. Probably one of the, like, puppet of the people getting, like, cut in half from the wire or something, or maybe the wire, just the wire.
Okay, just a bloody wire. Okay,
I'll
just
take
have it taken.
anything. I'll take
Right.
anything. I love the film so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Anastasia. This has been a real pleasure. I can't wait for us to be able to do something like this again in the future. I definitely had a blast doing this with you. Guys, I hope that you guys enjoy this. Go ahead, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Tell us what you think of Ghost Ship. What do you give it? Because I know I'm going to go on Letterbox later on and help this movie out. So I would like to know. We both would like to know what your score would be nostalgically and also stripping away the nostalgia if you chose to do so. Also, too, don't forget to go over to Spotify, give me a 5-star review if you choose to do so. And always until next time, guys. Have a great and safe day, and we'll catch you guys on the next time. Bye, guys. Thank you again, Anastasia.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Bye.